Hi, my name is Hava. I am an artist in resident here at Azule, here from Ann Arbor, Michigan, but originally from Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I'm somewhat of an interdisciplinary fiber artist, so I work with a lot of mediums, kind of in the larger umbrella of fiber. So screen printing, dyeing techniques, marbling, but predominantly right now weaving. So my primary medium, I would say, is I create tapestries, but that takes a lot of forms. So I've created pieces where I've done batik and screen printing on them. I've created pieces that are larger woven pieces, and I've also, um, most recently, I created a triptych that was two leather hides, laser etched and painted with an accompanying batik piece. And then I've also been expanding into quilting techniques with some of the fabrics I've dyed. So all kind of under the umbrella of tapestry, um, with different techniques and fibers.
Amazing. Can you describe your creative process? Are you reading? Are you listening to music? Like, how does inspiration strike you? Are you working inside, outside? Just like paint the picture for us.
Yeah, so I definitely incorporate a lot of media in my creative practice and just sort of in my personal practice. I'm really interested in scholarship and folklore and craft. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm also currently creating a social practice project I'm calling the Radical Lending Library. So I'm in a book club right now, and one of the problems that we run into is all of us wanting to get our books from the library, and there just not being like enough copies. And in the past, as like a community organizer, I've had books that I would like lend to friends, but then this anxiety of like, oh, am I gonna get it back? Like my copy of Zami or my copy of Pedagogy of the Oppressed or like the other books that I would give to friends. And I just had this idea of why don't I just print, why don't I just get a stamp and stamp my own stamp in these books, and then I can just give them to people and not worry about getting them back because they have that stamp in them. So I'm gonna start a mini sort of capsule library with books that I think are really important, or just books that I think that a lot of people are interested in, and start just giving them out without having any real strict system around when I'll get them back, and just see what happens with them. I'm actually interested to see how far they go in the world. But right now I'm reading personally Funny Weather, Art in an Emergency, and I've also gotten Worn, A People's History of Clothing, and a book called Craft, which is um, an academic study into the history of craft, not just as it relates to textiles, but as it relates to craft as a discipline more fully.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm writing those all down. If you could talk a little bit about like the foundation of your practice, like who is your go-to most influential artist or book or movie, like what is something that you reference in your work that you don't think your practice would be without it?
Yeah. I feel like the artist that I can think of who is most closely informed and influenced by a lot of the things that I am, Lenora Carrington, someone I really love and look up to in terms of her work. She created a lot of surrealist paintings based on folklore and mythology, both European and sort of, in her case, living in Mexico and being interested in Aztec concepts as well. But she also created tapestry. She also designed costumes for Alejandro Jodorowsky's films, made sculptures. She was really prolific. And I think for me, I have a lot of interest in spirituality and mysticism. And I also am really interested in natural dye and craft techniques and really material based work. And then I also have so many artists that I'm a fan of. Um, a lot of queer artists who make more figurative work are really interesting to me. Jenna Gribbins, Devon Shinoyama, and Moses Salazar Tolenshi are people that are more contemporary to my generation that I'm always sort of looking in on what they're doing, even though they're painters and I'm a fiber artist. I love the way that they sort of tell stories through their work, and especially with Moses and Devon, they sort of go beyond painting and they incorporate like jewelry. They incorporate, Moses adds like crocheted edging to their compositions and glitter. So there's sort of this breaking of that just oil painted square paradigm that we have. And Tracy Emin too, who's still alive and makes like incredible work with tapestry. So not just painting, but she also makes these textual compositions that are kind of like quilts, kind of like tapestries. And of course, she made the tent piece, Everyone I've Ever Slept With, and My Bed. So sort of like a feminist way of making that personal ritual and personal space into an art medium, and I really relate to that.
Amazing. Can you just briefly talk about what you've been working on at Azule? I don't know if you want to show this, but we can also cut this if you want to get up and get it. But yeah, just briefly tell us like what you've been working on at Azule and how Azule has helped you kind of facilitate your goals.
So yeah, I've been working on a lot of woven studies. So I'm making a larger quilt rod piece, which you saw upstairs, and working on twin lace samplers. But I've also been working on doing this sort of weaving study just in plein air, looking at the natural features around the campus of the residency, and particularly these dry stone walls. And this is just sort of a way for me to challenge myself to explore tapestry techniques and also use some of the fibers I spun myself. So especially this brown one, it's kind of thin here, and then this is some alpaca that I spun myself. So these two are from me, but yeah, I work with a lot of artisan-made yarns. And beyond that, I've been catching up on a lot of administrative stuff for my practice too, doing job interviews, applying to other opportunities, and I got the book stamp for my small lending library that I want to start. And so I've been doing a lot of journaling and coming up with concepts for things that I want to execute on a larger scale when I get back, in addition to sort of creating the samples I've been creating.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
All that seems good to me. Yeah, I'm super grateful to be here, and this is my first proper artist residency. I've done work exchanges and work studies, but this is the first residency.